The movie begins with a moving kingdom. Yes, an actual kingdom built to travel. Its ruler was a little boy, just a child. But his commander was the real force behind the throne. This commander was feared everywhere, dangerous, and ruthless. He even kept a strange bird that could talk to humans. Not far from this kingdom, we meet a boy named Myung. Myung had a gift. He was incredibly talented at painting. One day, while he was grazing his goats in the forest, he noticed two soldiers of the cruel commander chasing down a deer they had wounded with an arrow. The poor deer, injured and terrified, tried to escape, but the soldiers weren't about to give up. Myung felt sorry for the helpless animal. He picked up his brush and painted images of the deer across the trees. The soldiers got confused, unable to figure out which one was real. Thanks to Myung's clever trick, the deer escaped safely. Soon after, the story shifts to a magical carriage. On this carriage was a mystical painting of an old mother. The enchanted vehicle rolled its way right into Myung's village, surprising everyone. By accident, the magical carriage bumped into Myung. He didn't pay much attention to it, though. His mind was elsewhere, thinking about his friend. He was supposed to be helping with defenses for Layla's puppet show, but he had completely forgotten. Because of that, Layla got upset and punished him by locking him inside a drum. Meanwhile, the village chief gathered everyone and announced preparations for the upcoming festival. Fireworks were set off, filling the sky. But this celebration caught the attention of the commander's soldiers. They quickly ran to inform the king and the commander. Furious at this activity, the commander attacked the village. When he arrived, the villagers had no choice but to bow before him. The commander and the boy king declared that a gold mine lay beneath the village. They demanded that everyone leave, claiming the land and the gold belonged to the kingdom. Myung couldn't hold back his anger. He shouted, asking where they were supposed to go if they abandoned their home. The commander sneered and waved a pen he had taken, threatening that with this pen he could loot their homes if they refused. As he continued, something strange happened. From the magical carriage, an ink painting of a Buddha-like figure emerged, mocking and troubling the commander. Frustrated, the commander left with his men. Myung stayed behind, still confused about what had just happened. Suddenly, the monk from the painting stepped out. He handed Myung a magical pencil and told him the village was in great danger. With this pencil, Myung could protect his people, but he had to be wise. Whatever he drew with it would come alive. The monk also warned him that the pencil was tied to his very soul. After giving this advice, the monk disappeared with his carriage, leaving Myung shocked and unsure of what to do. Out of curiosity, Myung waved the pencil in the air, sketching random shapes. But instead of wonders, the drawings collapsed to the ground. Nervous, he tapped a painting with his brush, and suddenly, a rat sprang out, ready to attack him. Thinking quickly, Myung drew another cat in the air. That drawing came alive and fought off the first one. Myung was amazed and excited at the pencil's power. Elsewhere, the commander was still obsessed with gaining this magical tool. He tried to make villagers disappear through his own tricks, but nothing worked, and he flew into a rage. The next morning, his soldiers stormed Myung's village and began seizing all the animals. When Myung saw this, he grew furious and even hurled a stone at the commander's bird before running off. He rushed to his friend Bablu, who was heartbroken over losing his favorite bull. But then, both of them were startled by a talking cat and mouse. Myung explained everything about his magical pencil, though his friends didn't believe him, until he drew a bull in the air. Instantly, a real bull appeared before their eyes. Bablu was amazed, but the bull had a proud and stubborn nature. When Bablu asked Myung to calm it down, the bull refused. So Myung drew again, transforming it into a more beautiful bull. The arrogant animal softened, apologizing and begging to be turned back. Myung restored it to normal, and the bull was grateful. But trouble wasn't far. Two soldiers approached, clearly intending to take the bull. Layla quickly advised Myung that if he touched the drawing with the backside of the pencil, it would vanish. Myung did exactly that. The bull disappeared, and the soldiers were left confused before leaving. Back in the village, Myung saw how sad everyone was without their animals. He used the pencil to help them, lifting their spirits. For a while, joy returned. But the commander, jealous of Myung's influence, cut off the village's water supply. The villagers suffered, desperate for even a drop of water. Myung responded by drawing a massive container and filling it with river water, then sharing it with everyone. His kind act made Layla smile, and she gifted him a small paper horse as thanks. Their peace didn't last long. The commanders sent ferocious animals to attack. Myung and his friends fought bravely and barely managed to escape. During the chaos, some of the commander's soldiers ended up trapped inside a magical ball, which shrank them to tiny size. When they reported back, the commander was baffled at their condition. Suspicious, he sent his bird to investigate. Meanwhile, rats began overrunning homes in the village. Myung asked his cat to chase them off, but she admitted she was terrified of rats. Instead, Myung sent his painted rat, which battled the rat leader and drove the others away. The commander's bird watched everything and hurried back to report about Myung's magical pencil. Hearing this, the commander's eyes lit up. If he could get the pencil, he would control everything. As days passed, the villagers grew greedy with requests. Exhausted, Myung was pressured even more when the village chief suggested he draw a golden tree. That way, they could all be rich and safe. Myung gave in and sketched the tree. Instantly, it appeared, glittering with golden coins. But instead of using it wisely, the villagers swarmed it, grabbing greedily at the treasure. Myung felt disheartened, realizing how selfish people could be. Just then, the commander's bird appeared again, announcing that the prince had invited everyone to his birthday celebration. Myung and his friends went to the palace and performed a firework display that delighted the king. But behind the smiles, the commander had darker plans. He attacked Myung and snatched the pencil from him. The king, surprisingly, tried to stop the commander, calling Myung his friend. But the commander showed no mercy. He cursed the king, turning him into a dog. Then, he trapped Myung inside an ink prison. Myung's friends chased after the magical prison, desperately trying to rescue him. The cat warned them that if they didn't free Myung before the ink dried, he would be stuck inside forever. On the other side, the commander attempted to use the pencil's powers for himself. But since his heart was full of greed and cruelty, everything he drew turned black and lifeless. Frustrated, he made one last attempt. He sketched a massive dragon. At first, the dragon remained motionless, just an outline without life. Then the commander's bird whispered to him, "Give it eyes. Only then will it awaken." The commander quickly drew the dragon's eyes, and instantly, the beast roared to life. But instead of obeying, the dragon turned on him, attacking fiercely. In the chaos, the commander dropped the magical pencil, and it tumbled into a pan. Myung's friends saw their chance and rushed to retrieve it, desperately trying to reach the pencil before the commander could. At the same time, the commander managed to strike back at the dragon, killing it after a tough fight. Inside the ink prison, Myung encountered the same old monk who had once given him the magical pencil. The monk admitted with regret, "I didn't listen to you before. I failed you. And now the commander has the pencil. How can I return home?" But the old man reassured Myung, "Remember, that pencil is tied to your soul. As long as you have faith, no one can truly take it away." Outside, Myung's friends were scrambling. The talking cat turned to Layla and said, "I'm not real. I can't go inside the ink to help Myung." "But you can." Layla bravely reached into the dark painting, and after struggling for a moment, she pulled Myung out. Everyone cheered with relief as Myung stood before them again. Together, they tried to escape the palace. But by then, the commander had already ordered a brutal attack on the village, firing cannons and bullets. In the middle of the chaos, Myung used a clever trick. He drew a reverse bomb and blasted a path for them to escape. But their troubles weren't over yet. The commander's bird swooped in with an entire flock, swallowing up Myung and his friend. Just when it seemed hopeless, Myung fought back with the pencil, striking with golden energy and saving everyone. Finally, they made it back to the village. The people were overjoyed to see Myung and his friends alive. But their happiness didn't last long. The cruel commander returned, dragging a child from the village as his prisoner. When the villagers tried to resist, the commander ordered his soldiers to attack. The villagers fought back bravely, but the commander was too powerful. He struck Myung down and made his demand clear. "Create a mountain of gold for me. Do this, and I'll let you and your people live." To protect everyone, Myung agreed. With a stroke of the magical pencil, he drew a towering golden mountain. Amazed, the commander then asked how they would climb it. Myung quickly sketched a flying ship, allowing them to soar up into the sky toward the golden peak. But the commander wasn't stupid. He didn't trust Myung. To make sure he wouldn't be tricked, he forced both Myung and Layla to come with him. Greed got the better of others too. The village chief and his two sons secretly boarded the ship, eager to grab wealth for themselves. When they reached the mountain's summit, the commander finally showed his true colors. He betrayed Myung, snatching the pencil out of his hand. Then he and his men began tearing into the golden mountain, taking everything they could. But greed always comes with a price. The commander's son started tempting him with more and more gold, and the two began to fight over their spoils. As they battled, they climbed higher and higher until they reached the very top of the mountain. There, the commander's own body began to change. Slowly, he was turning into gold himself. Still, in his last moment of rage, the commander raised his weapon and fired at Myung. But the curse backfired. The blast turned fully to gold, and the commander was consumed, frozen forever as a golden statue. At the same time, the flying ship collided with the mountain, sending Myung and Layla falling. Luckily, with the help of the magical paper horse, they managed to fly safely back down to their village. Once home, Myung used the pencil to reverse the curse on the young prince, transforming him back into a human again. The villagers cheered, celebrating their freedom at last. But the greedy chief stumbled forward, crying in despair. His two sons had also been turned into gold during the chaos. Seeing his grief, Myung and his friends didn't turn away. They used the magical pencil once more, restoring the chief's sons to life. In the end, with the commander gone and the prince restored, the village came together. They rebuilt their homes, standing stronger than before, while Myung and his friends looked on with hope for the future. So what did you think about this story? If you enjoyed the recap, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss more amazing movie stories.